Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Dr. Joshua Metz, and I'm the instructor of clarinet and the director of bands at Casper College in Casper, Wyoming. Today, I'm going to be talking with you about the 2025 Wyoming All State Band audition. This is clarinet etude number 2. And this is a really beautiful one. It comes to us from the Furling/Rose tradition. We play loads of those. Saxophonists should all be really familiar with the Furling studies. Clarinetists are typically familiar with the Rose studies. They're largely the same. So this one, they give it. I'm actually going to give you two different ways to perform this. In the video will be at the end, and the reason I'm giving you two is because I think the tempo is a little fast. And if I were to actually perform this, I would want to have some time to kind of enjoy the beautiful dissonances and really work with the music to kind of make it be this sort of dark and expressive thing that it is. I think if the tempo is too quick, it kind of you lose a lot of that. So I'm going to play it. I'll give you two of them. The first one I'll play it is exactly with the metronome. The next one I'll play is the way I would perform it myself. Now, that said, you do need to do your best to make this as musical a performance as you possibly can. And the way to do that is to really bring out some of the wonderful dissonances, the non-chord tones, and things that they give us to really sort of show the listener what you think the important notes are. So I've given you my markings on here. You'll start off at the beginning here, and you'll see I want to do a really wonderful crescendo all the way into the second bar. And I think that eighth note on the downbeat of measure 2 is really important. So I'm actually going to give it a little bit of extra weight with a tenuto on there. Give that just a little bit of extra push and show that A is important, because it sounds a little like it's not in the right place, and that's beautiful. We want to bring that out. I want to make sure that I have a nice diminuendo off of that so that I can kind of get back to that espressivo quality. They haven't given us any actual dynamics in here, so I would recommend starting off maybe mezzo piano would be okay. It doesn't have to be too soft, but it does have to have some room to grow. Going into measure 3, we've got the crescendo on those 3/16 notes. Now, I think that's really important that you do start a crescendo there, but I want you to continue doing the crescendo all the way through the quarter note that's tied, that high D that's tied to the next high D of the 16th notes, all the way till there. And don't start diminuendoing until you get to the B flat. That way you can push all the way through there, and those 16th notes will kind of fall away into that A, and then you get the beautiful grace notes at the end of that. He gave you a diminuendo on there, which is great. Feel free to make that as much as you can. I would even say you could get down to pianissimo. Take a good breath here before coming in again at piano. And you kind of set it up like you set up the beginning again. You want to make sure that you get those 3/8 notes that lead to the downbeat of measure 5, crescendo through that, and then just sink into that F sharp. After that, what we're going to do is start to build again as we get more and more excitement building in the excerpt. Let those 3/8 notes, this is the end of measure 5, really lead to the downbeat of measure 6. And again, like the beginning, give that G just a little bit of extra weight, and then you can launch into that F sharp to G combination that happens right after that. Make sure it's really smooth between the G and the B flat in measure 6. Sometimes students have a tendency to kind of bobble. If they're going to play that on the side key, there's a little bit of an extra note in there sometimes. Make sure that's really clean. Let the B flat lead you down to the F sharp, G sharp, D sharp, D, and make sure it's super pianissimo by the time you end that note. Then you'll hear what I'm doing in the recording is I'm actually going to start off at a subito forte in the end of measure 8, so that I get this sort of, it surprises the audience. And I think that's one of the more emotional parts of this piece is give it an accent. I put a little bit of extra weight on it, dee da dum, so that it really has this power to it. And then the grace note, he gave you a tenuto on top of there too, or I did, one of us did. So just give that a little ding da dum da dum, and so that they sound just very, there's like a weeping quality to it. Again, with a very clean transition in measure 10, we want to make sure that 10, the G to the B flat is very smooth, and then just let that B flat to A lead you down to the G. crescendo through that, kind of like we did at the beginning, and let each one of those groups of 16th notes just get a little bit louder. Keep crescendoing through the beginning of measure 12 and all the way to the downbeat of measure 13. And once you get to measure 13, it's all right to start a diminuendo into that last note so that it just sort of is a whisper at the end. Now, one of the things I did in the second video is I actually put a ritardando here at the end. And there's a lot of push and pull that I'm doing intentionally in the second video. And this is a choice you have to make. You can, I think it's the more musical way to perform it by giving the phrases they need the space to kind of expand and contract. If you're worried about maybe you might lose a point here or there because you're not strictly following the tempo, that's a choice you can make, and it's justified. There's, that's on the rubric of keeping an even tempo. But in my performance experience, I think having a little bit more rubato and a little bit more push and pull in this kind of an excerpt is going to go a lot further than you'll gain more than you lose in the points. So I hope this is helpful. If you have questions, go ahead and shoot me an email. My email is Joshua, Joshua, .metz, METZ, at caspercollege.edu. And I'm happy to I'll meet with you, or I'm happy to sort of give you some other information or pointers as I can. And good luck with your audition. Thanks.